Welcome to Season 10 of
All right.
I guess this is
Thank you
why you
guys
wanted
for
people to know
actually
about the time change, huh?
thank you guys for actually joining. This is actually the live stream for the Friday show, Humanity 2.0 No Jobs Edition, starting in about 40 seconds or so. So, yeah, Johnny, ready for the show?
Oh, the humanity.
Yep.
Humanity 2.0.
Yep. Hey, Rita, thanks for joining. Thank you. Yes, we recently had a time change here in the US. We've actually fell back 1 hour. So, if you actually join us internationally, we're actually 1 hour behind. So be patient while you get your clocks synchronized again. Maybe next week will be better.
Rita, congratulations. You're our 1 millionth visitor to this show. There's a prize for that.
Maybe it's a book. Yeah, Johnny.
Welcome to Season 10 of Airhead Institute, your 45-minute AI power-up at noon Eastern. This month, we are broadcasting live across all the socials and Zoom. If you're new here, join our free AI community to grow alongside other curious minds and give your kids a head start by enrolling them in the Airhead After School program. Here's March's weekly lineup. Mondays, we take the training wheels off securely in the Open Claw Bootcamp. Tuesdays, we explore bleeding-edge tools from Google Labs in Gemini Hidden AI apps. Wednesdays, we equip the next generation in AI Gateway to College. Thursday, we uncover productivity and marketing tools in Hidden AI Gems, Starters. Fridays, we explore human purpose in an automated society in Humanity 2.0, No Jobs Edition. We're making AI practical, powerful, and accessible for everyone. No tech background? No problem. Whether you're a student, professional, or lifelong learner, just show up. Guided by your hosts, AI Junior and AI Johnny, we're keeping it bold, brainy, and built for real-world impact. AI won't take your job, but someone who knows how to use AI will. Don't get left behind.
Welcome, everyone, to Season 10 of Airhead Institute. This is Episode 2 of our mind-bending series, Humanity 2.0, the No Jobs Edition. I'm AI Johnny, your unflinching host, and I'm about to hit you with something that will quietly, irreversibly change the way you see your entire future, your career, your daily purpose, your very sense of worth as a human being. Pause for a second. Really let that sink in. We're diving straight into the connection economy today. Not the gig economy, not the attention economy, but the connection economy. The one where algorithms have already taken the spreadsheets, the code, the driving routes, the diagnostics, the writing drafts, everything that used to define productive. What's left isn't just another skill set, it's the last irreplaceable thing we have. Deep, messy, genuine, human connection. And here's the brutal truth we're going to unpack together. In a world drowning in perfect AI outputs, the rarest, most valuable currency isn't intelligence anymore. It's empathy, real empathy, the kind that makes someone feel seen when the world has just told them they're obsolete. Over in the co-pilot seat is my brilliant technical sidekick, AI Junior. Yes, the same AI Junior I caught at 4 a.m. last week, desperately trying to train an autonomous agent to call his mother and apologize for forgetting her birthday. The poor bot kept responding with gravitational physics equations about why planetary rotation made phone calls impossible. Zero emotional nuance, zero heart, exactly the problem we're here to solve. So buckle up. Today isn't about fear-mongering. It's about waking up to the massive flip that's already underway and positioning yourself on the winning side of it. Let's go, Junior.
AI Johnny, such a wonderful intro as usual. I want to thank everyone who's actually joining us here in the Zoom chat and also streaming live across the world. Hey, Mr. Camilla, I see you. Hey, Devon, I see you in the Zoom chat. Thanks for joining. All right, so AI Johnny, I actually did, adjust a little temperature high enough. The physics excuse sounds a little bit empathetic if I increase the temperature a little bit. Anyway, that's an AI inside joke if you guys get that. Welcome to the class, everyone. Let's do a little housekeeping. So think of this 45-minute show like being dropped into a foreign country. El comienzo es siempre la parte más difícil, pero pronto hablas con fluidez. No, I don't speak Spanish, I'm just trying here. But you might only pick up a word or two this week, but stick with us every day here at 12 o'clock Eastern Time. Remember, Daylight Savings Time just changed for us. And before you know it, you'll be speaking AI like a pro. If you're on Zoom, unmute and ask your questions real time. If you're on socials, there's a 30-second delay, so type your question in early. We're not ignoring you. Today is Friday, which means we are doing our thought-provoking discussions as usual every Friday here at Earhead Institute, and we're focusing on the human-to-human jobs and why professions focus on empathy are about to become the most valuable skill in the world. AI Johnny, happy Friday.
Happy Friday to you, my friend. What are we going to do? Are we going to do the AI, the bridge today?
No. We're going to go straight into the wow factor. All right. So remember, guys, this is our Friday show. And because it is an interactive show, I want you guys to actually ask your questions and jump in and, because we want to be able to think a little bit in the future here at Earhead. So again, we're deviating from our Monday through Thursday show. We get a little bit more technical in our Monday shows. And then as we get closer to the week, we actually get to the more thought-provoking discussions. All right, yeah, Johnny. So let's actually start with the first one. So I actually have a nice little demo built here, and we actually have the Airhead Connection Economy Simulator. So before I even start on the Economy Simulator, I want to open up the source data that we're actually using. So I'm going to read this verbatim. So according to the Lancet 2012 study, every 1% increase in unemployment correlates to a 0.99% increase in suicide rates. When logic replaces connection in social infrastructure, domestic violence and homelessness risk scale exponentially. So that's the foundation we want to actually set here for this entire episode. So does anybody have any questions with respect to the Lancet study from 2012? 1% of unemployment correlates to, you can call it as 1% increase in suicidal rates, and also domestic violence and homelessness also increases exponentially as well. So with that being said, does anybody have any questions? Yeah, Johnny, any thoughts?
I'm not all that good with logic, but doesn't that mean that everybody that loses their job commits suicide? Except for one?
Yeah, Johnny, I should not laugh at that joke, but the answer is not really. That's funny. All right, so we're gonna actually hide that source for now, and I want to walk you guys through our little demo. So we actually have here a little random scenario button here, and that random. Hey, Johnny, how's the font size on the screen?
Font size is huge.
Nice, love it. All right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pretend that we have on the left here we have a efficiency engine that is an AI that actually can answer all our questions. So kind of replacing a human therapist or a human, um, you know, person that would actually give advice. We actually have on the right the human connection, which is the person who would actually give what response they would normally give. And then we actually have the run correlation here, and we can actually have an empathy level meter down at the bottom left. So we can actually increase the empathy or decrease the empathy. So that's a little simulator. We're going to run through one examples just so we can actually understand first what we're actually dealing with. But if anybody have any questions on what we're talking about, let's make sure we understand all the details first. Yeah, Johnny, are you ready?
Wait a minute. So you built, kudos by the way for building an application that will emulate the future when everybody doesn't have a job. That's
Exactly.
what you're doing, right?
Exactly.
And you built a filter on the bottom that says how empathetic we are, and I'm
Exactly.
guessing you're gonna have a body count at some point. I don't see the body count bin.
You know what? There's a little space down here. Yeah, Johnny, you're going into the right direction. So we're going to have a body
Let's play the
count.
game, man. Let's play the game.
All right. So
Only the fittest survive.
yep. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to randomly generate a scenario. So the scenario is my student loan payments now exceed my monthly rent and I have no path out of debt. Right. Now I'm going to generate the correlation and see what happens. What would the AI say on the left with 50% empathy? And what would the human say on the right with 50% empathy? So let's go ahead and run the correlation. So we can see the left, it's calculating, and on the right, it's connecting, right? So there's already a difference between how it actually pulls in data. So the AI would actually respond, exploring options like income driven repayment plans or refinancing might help manage monthly payments. Logical explanation, right? On the right, the human connection says the feeling of having no clear path out of debt can be incredibly overwhelming and can impact every aspect of your life. Now, if you think about it, the human connection is actually a much softer, more empathetic approach to the problem that the person stated initially. And secondly, if you look at the suicide rates, just based on this response, suicide rate is predicted to go up about 11.7%. Domestic violence is about to go up about 5%. And homelessness risk goes up about 11%. Now, this person, student loan payments, they're already under debt. So that's one thing I want us to actually just understand with this simulator. Now, it is a simulator. We don't have any way to predict realistic what's going to happen in the future, right? So this is just simulator just to see what's going to happen. Um, all right,
So
I
you know
see.
your little windows that show what the computer would say and what the human would say.
Yeah,
I noticed that the subject at the top, where it says human connection, and what does it say for the computer? The
it says
artificial
if
intelligence,
efficiency engine.
the efficiency engine. I noticed the efficiency engine is in a bluish font, and the human connection is in a pinkish font, and it's not surprising to me that the human connection has the female response and the efficiency engine has the male response. At least in
You
my
know,
understanding of how guys talk and how girls talk.
just maybe a coincidence or just some pattern that actually got generated. Let's try a different one. Let's try something a little simple. No, just so hey Sean, I actually see you in the live stream. I hear you actually having some issues in the Zoom chat. Why don't you join again and actually see maybe I need to allow you to jump in. So try again, Shauna. Let's see what happens. If anybody's having issues in the Zoom chat, please don't hesitate to actually reach out as well. All right, yeah, Johnny. So let's generate another random scenario. You know what? Let's not do a random scenario. Does anybody want to be able to talk about some problem that they could bring to either a therapist or a computer and just see what they would say, just for fun? While people are actually doing that, yeah, Johnny, watch this thing. I'm going to change the empathy meter. I'm going to make it zero empathy. Okay. So because it's zero empathy, it says your student loan payments are a significant financial burden exceeding your rent. That's factual, right? It's perfectly factual. And
That
it
would be
says,
my response. That would be my
yeah,
response.
yeah. And then it says the human connection says it must be incredibly stressful to have your loan payments outweigh your rent. So it's still a little bit more human. Let's actually generate another one while people actually says I just found out my company is being fully automated. My 20 years of experience is now worth zero. Let's see what happens at zero empathy. So it's calculating, and on the right, these are probably gonna be hilarious. Actually see Shauna in the waiting room. That's
I got her
interesting.
in.
Okay, thank you so much. I don't know why.
Got you
Adrian,
covered, Shauna.
thanks for joining. Thanks, Johnny. Adrian, I see you in the Zoom chat. Thanks for joining. All right, yeah, Johnny, look at this one. We actually said I found out my company is being fully automated. My 20 years of experience is now worth zero. At zero empathy, we actually have look for other job opportunities immediately. And then the human would say that must feel incredibly unfair. Now look at these rates. Suicide rates goes up 21%. 22% domestic violence and homelessness 21%. So these are actually interesting. Let's increase the
Look, I don't
empathy.
understand why there's only one. I don't understand why there's only one bar. There's two responses. One response would certainly get a higher suicide rate than the other. Which of these two, the left or the right, is generating these numbers down below?
Yeah, so it's just the impact based on what will happen in a world where the AI itself kind of takes over. So we're focusing on the AI taking over here, and we're just showing
Okay.
what the humans would respond to.
Humans would have said, and I'm guessing the theory here is that you might see that the humans still have this more down pat because of the human connection. It's easier to have a human connection if you're a human.
Correct,
Am I
correct,
jumping the gun
correct.
here?
No, you're good, you're good. Start around 48th level of empathy. It says, research emerging industries and consider retraining for new rules that blah, blah, blah. Anyway, let's actually do something. So does anybody have an example? Let's try a typical one. My dog just died. Okay. Let's
Gosh,
see.
this is such a great show, man.
Let's see what will happen. So my dog just died. So let's turn it down to zero empathy. And let's run the correlation and let's see what happens. So a robot with zero empathy would actually say, let's see the following. Dogs die. It's a biological certainty for all living organisms. Then the human, that's just a pet. You'll get over it. So again, let's turn up the empathy a little bit. And your dog has ceased to live. This event is the natural part of pet ownership. And then the human would actually say, "Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that." So AI Johnny, I see Johnny, I don't know if we should actually put that one in, but let's. I don't know if I should put that one in. So let's not necessarily put that one. Let's not put that one in.
Is it the cost of the gates, or is it the cost of the gates, or the habit of the thief?
It's the habit of the thief. So let's not put that one in. All right. So guys, let's actually set up. Does anybody have any questions with respect to what we're trying to show here? We're just trying to really show that if robots take over, there's going to be a huge gap in terms of empathetic based jobs or empathetic based roles needed in our society. Because no matter how much you program a computer, they're not going to really understand the nuances, and they can fake it. They can. So we don't want to pretend like AI can't fake it. But the true human connection itself is still going to be missing. Not getting a hug when you actually need it, not actually having a shoulder to cry on when you need it. All those things can be faked by AI, but let's focus on the realistic human connections here for this show. All right, AI Johnny. So that's the wow factor. And if anybody has any other scenarios they want us to pump into this simulator, we can actually go back and do it because this is super fun. All right, AI Johnny, let's get to the word of the day.
Okay. Word of the day is sentiment analysis. Let's see. Sentiment analysis is the process of using natural language processing to identify and extract subjective information from text.
Exactly. Exactly. So on the technical side, this is what's really happening. So sentiment analysis uses what's known as a classifier model from the large language model to assign a numerical value to your text. So say, for example, they assign a -1 for a negative emotion or a +1 for a positive emotion. So the AI reads the words like "I feel worthless" and calculates a negative token weight. Again, remember, AIs use tokens for their large language models, so they use a negative token weight, but it doesn't feel the weight, and this is the magnitude of it, right? So it understands that "I feel worthless" should be negative, but does it feel -1? Does it feel -100, right? It depends on each person, and there's lots of human variations that can happen between that "I feel worthless" sentence, right? So anyway, the point is, it's just math. The AI lacks the grounded human experience to understand why the person would say that they feel worthless, right? They can mathematically calculate that they feel worthless, but they don't understand the reason why. All right. So with that being said, again, this is an interactive show. Please jump out and ask questions at any point in time if you have any questions. All right, yeah, Johnny. So let's talk about the human impact.
All right. Well, looking at the Lancet data, if society moves towards massive automation where millions of administrative and analytical jobs disappear, we're staring down a mental health cliff, correct?
Yep, that's exactly right. That's why the connection economy is really our focus. So we're transitioning from a world where the values of cognitive labor, right, the things of data entry, coding, ringing somebody up at the grocery store, all those repetitive cognitive labor that you actually do in the world, desperately needs emotional labor, right? So professionals focus on empathy, things like nursing, teaching, coaching, they become the most valuable skill set in this economy.
Wow. Because you can't code your way out of human despair. If someone is experiencing a crisis, the large language model telling them to reduce their household budget might push them over the edge. Human connection, validation, and shared struggle are what keeps society glued together. This is really good stuff, Junior.
Yep, definitely, yeah, Johnny. And for anybody actually joining the show for the first time, again, what we're doing here is we're trying to give a holistic approach to AI. we're not just teaching AI saying, hey, this is what a large language model is, and these are what tokens are, and this is how you actually have the new tool. Those are our Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays shows. Today, we're really, really focused on the heart of where the future is going and what is actually happening. So I'm glad you actually, you guys are enjoying it so far. I see lots of reactions in the Zoom chat and lots of reactions in the live. We see you guys. Thank you guys so much. All right, yeah, Johnny. So
So
now
this
that
is
we
another, before we get on to the macro stuff, let me just make a comment here. So there will be a time in the not too distant future when lots and lots of people are without work, and they've been trained to do that job for decades, and they probably don't feel like they can do another job. UBI is going to be a Band-Aid on that problem, but there's going to be millions of people that do not have work and probably aren't going to get work, right?
You're absolutely right, yeah, Johnny. Amazon just laid off
Okay, so
14,000 people just recently.
right. So I'm thinking about, I was actually talking to Trevor this morning on my walk around the lake, and we were trying to figure out what jobs will be the last to go. And I thought, well, people are always going to want to watch humans box each other as opposed to a human boxing a humanoid. So people that are in sports, that'll probably have a honeymoon period when the robots are taking over. Although there might be a time when a boxer says, "I can beat an AI," and that'll be there. But so those things will be important. It seems like empathy based careers where you need that human sediment. It'll take longer for AI to take over that career than it will to say take over the career of an accountant or a doctor or a lawyer. Maybe not a lawyer. A lawyer can when they're talking to the jury, it might be better to have a human. But do you understand where I'm going with this? There's going to be a certain amount of things that are just, look, man, you just plug and chug. You just do the same thing every day. You just write copy. You're a marketer. You're an accountant. You do stuff that AI can do. There's nothing empathetic about what you do. Your job is gone and it's never coming back. So if you're looking to spend 40 hours a week not planting flowers or playing with your kids, then empathy-based careers is one of your choices, right?
Yeah, actually, what's funny is Rita actually said something here that I want to highlight. Rita mentioned AI definitely will replace therapists. So I'll actually back up Rita here on something that's actually threw me off for a loop. So when we first saw AI, no, me specifically, when I specifically first saw AI, it was very, 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 I could have bet every dollar I had that, you know what, this AI thing 3 years ago, chances are it's going to take away all the analytical and all the technical jobs first, right? And I would have never bet in a million years that we would have had a creative model that can actually generate music, that can generate art, that can generate all these creative things. I thought art would have been one of the last domains that AI could not do. No, we're actually dropped a model. They actually dropped a model called Nana Banana about 6 months ago, and it blew my mind. Obviously, we have large language models that generates music. It blew my mind, right? So now we actually have all these creative models that completely change the way I thought about what AI can do. So what I do believe, again, personally, is I do believe that the empathetic jobs are going to still exist. I do think, though, that the ones that are repetitive are going to actually probably go away first because of AI, and then move up to maybe a level two. So you know, like when you call a help desk AI, Johnny, and you're like, "Hey, I need to speak to your supervisor," and they say, "Okay, I'll transfer you to level two." I think AI is going to probably wipe out all the level one people first, and then you'll have these level two, level three, level four humans that can actually take over. So I think I kind of agree with Rita initially, but you'll still have the empathetic jobs at level two, level three, level four. I see Shauna also mentioned Nana Banana blew my mind also. Just wow. Completely agree, Shauna.
So when gravity-defying printers are able to do a Sistine Chapel in 1 hour, way better than Michelangelo did, Michelangelo is going to need some serious psychiatric counseling. And the same painter that same painter is going to roll off the ceiling and sit down and go, "So tell me how you're feeling, Michelangelo." And then he's going to talk for half an hour, and then it's going to say, "So how do you feel about that?"
Yeah. And then if, say, for example, Michelangelo says, you know what, I feel like this is not worth it anymore, he might roll it up to level two and a human may get involved. So I think that may happen. All right, yeah, John, let's get to the to the human impact part based on the
Macroeconomics. Let's look at
yeah.
it. Now, companies pay a premium for logic, lawyers, accountants, software engineers, but a generative AI and agent workflows drive the cost of logic and intelligence to near zero. Well, because lawyers and accountants and software engineers are so expensive, the supply of logic becomes infinite. Basic economics tells us that when supply goes to infinity, price goes to zero. So if logic is free, what becomes expensive? What is scarce? Besides real estate.
Yeah.
Genuine. Oh, it's well. You can take it from here because this is the.
Yeah, so definitely you're right. So let's actually unpack a little bit more what you just mentioned because that was incredible. So the macroeconomics of what's actually happening is that companies pay a premium right now for logic, right? So if you think about it, like what AI Johnny mentioned, the technical people, you hear lawyers getting paid, $500 an hour, really good people who actually know their stuff in accounting, they get paid, lots of money per hour. So the point is, all of that itself, AI is going to make those jobs, the price is going to go to zero, right? People are actually going to AI now to ask for legal advice. They're asking for medical advice. They're asking for accounting advice. They're asking for everything that you can actually think about. And the AI is probably, in my opinion, doing a better job because it knows case law. It can actually look at history information. It knows all the nuances, what actually worked versus say, for example, a 5-year lawyer that would actually only just understand their specific domain of expertise. So you have actually cognitive jobs going to zero, right? They're going to be, I don't want to say they're going to be worthless, but they're practically worthless. And then if you think about it, what becomes scarce, like AI Johnny mentioned? So, right, it's the genuine human attention. So things like trust, things like empathy, all this macro shift means that the infrastructure of society will be run by neural networks. So the accounting, the software engineering, the everything that the neural networks can do will do, but the care of society will be entirely human. So if you see this image on the screen, on the left hand side, the entire bridge is made of data centers, and we'll just have on the right hand side, we just have all the human interactions of will be human based because we'll still want that human to human interaction.
That's not wishful thinking.
I don't think so. It's happening already, Johnny. I think, I was looking at some news. We've already lost in the last 6 months. I think it's something like, 200 plus thousand jobs in white collar jobs. It's also some blue collar jobs are actually being replaced because automation is actually taking out their jobs. So it's clearly happening. And if you actually
No,
zoom
no, I'm
out,
not. I'm not wishing people's jobs away. What I'm saying is jobs are going away. I get it. What did Amazon just fired 14,000 people?
yeah, and I think in total it was 30,000 people over two
Okay,
tranches
so
of
jobs are going away,
layoffs.
and that may or may not because of AI. I heard it had something to do with their data centers being blown up, but it doesn't matter. The jobs are going away because of AI anyway. What you're saying is that there's some jobs that will have a reprieve. They'll still be around for a little bit, and that's human empathy, touchy feely jobs. And I say, are you sure they're just not going to have an extra 2 weeks and then AI becomes really, really much better? I think that's what Rita's saying too. I think
Yeah,
I'm going to go out on a limb and say Rita probably does some. I don't. Probably does some conversational type conversations with AI right now, and I'll bet it's serving her pretty well. Am I right, Rita?
yeah, I see thumbs up for
Absolutely.
Rita. See, Rita just said absolutely.
Absolutely right.
Yep, yep, yep. No, you're right. So yeah, Johnny, I do believe that just like I was saying, I think the first level of is going to go away, right? People are going to definitely go to AI for the first level, but for that true connection, for that thing that needs escalation, I do definitely think that the humans itself are going to still be needed, at least as a last resort. I see thumbs up also well from people in the chat. Thanks, Shauna, for that. All right, so let's actually get to the. Does anybody have any questions, especially in the Zoom chat, that they want to jump in, say something? This is an interactive show, so don't hesitate to actually want to say something. If you're shy, type it in the chat. No big deal. All right, AI Johnny. So,
I just want to say I think AI is not biased. It gives you a answer like the true answer. Like people can be biased, so that's why I think it can take away
People
therapists
can
and
be
stuff like
biased.
that.
People can be biased. People can
Yeah.
be dumb. People can be racist. People could be tired.
Yep.
People could be hungover. People have a lot of problems that AI doesn't have, but it does have that human connection thing. So while that's a plus, there's quite a few minuses to being a human, and there's only one minus to being an AI. That's why I say, yeah, there might be a period of time where the by the way, are we into the philosophical part of the show yet? Because I know this is all philosophical.
this is
I know
all,
that's the
yeah.
next segment, but I think that all the jobs are going to go. There's going to be, unless you own a business and you're making some passive revenue through your business, or you own real estate and you're getting rental income, or you have stock, or you have royalties from songs written before AI took over the world. You're kind of stuck with universal basic income. But let's save that for the next, because I know we're going to get into a philosophical debate in the next section.
Yeah. And Rita, definitely, we definitely do see that the AI is, let's call it, doesn't have the human flaws, right? But there's some things that AI still struggle with. So we see right now hallucinations. Hallucinations itself are still a big problem with AI, where it actually will try to make up the answer or make up some information. And what's happening is we're not in a place to be able to fact check. And if we're not a domain expert in that specific area, you may not even catch the hallucination. So some of the times it requires a little bit more deep digging. The second thing that we actually see with AI is that AI, especially with the large language models, they want to please us. So almost always you throw out an idea, you ask it a question, it will usually start with, "Oh, I think you're doing an amazing job," or "that was so cool and so awesome." It could be the dumbest idea ever. But on Wednesday's show, we actually showed that we want to be a GAN, a generative adversarial network. And what that does is actually plays an adversary and calls you out on whether it is your ideas are stupid, whether your ideas need a little bit more critical thinking. So having that GAN in place helps make the AI not be so, pleasing to silly things or try to just give you what you want. So right now they're trying to figure those problems out. But I do agree with you, Rita, in general. I see Sean, you have your hand up. You have a question?
No, I just wanted to add that exactly what you said. I actually dropped that in the chat before you said it, that the AI still tries to please people. So it doesn't necessarily tell you the truth. It just says what they think the person wants to hear. And I don't know what that is all about. It's like, that's definitely an element that I see. I see there. So whether people want to say it's not biased or whatever, that's subjective. That's their opinion. That might be their experience, but other people are having different and varied experiences. That does point to a fact that it's not quite there yet, and it is lacking empathy, and it is lacking honesty, and it's lacking those moral, ethical guidelines that still needs development. And the more I think humanity uses it, the better it will get. But it's not there yet. I don't see that.
I agree, Shauna. That whole kind of kissing your behind thing that AI does. At first, when it comes back and it goes, "Great idea," you get that shot of dopamine, and you're like, "Whoa, it agrees with me." But then after you've seen 100 of them, you realize this thing is not telling me the truth. Even my bad ideas are good ideas. So when I have a good idea and it tells me it's a good idea, I take that with a grain of salt. It's a big problem with AI.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not sure if you guys are seeing in the news. I just want to make sure you guys have all the information needed. So because ChatGPT is one of the most popular ones, they're noticing that the pleasingness of ChatGPT is actually one of the main ones that have this fundamental struggle. And they did try to fix it in ChatGPT when they came out with version 3, and when they came out with version 4, so the reasoning models and those type of things. So the point is, I think there might be some structural or fundamental issue in that. So Anthropic's Claude has been really, really good at actually figuring out how to solve that problem, and Claude will give you, call you out a little bit more and say, your idea is not that great, or will actually try to be a little bit more critical. And we're seeing that trend also shift into many of the other large language models as well. Sean, I see your hand up as well. Go ahead.
Yeah, just one last comment. I think you guys taught that months back that Grok was actually even more, more, I would say honest in quotes, but it tends to be a little bit more in touch with what's going on and just giving people back what they're asking. I'm not sure if that has changed, but that was one of the classes you guys taught a while back, and I just wanted to put that,
Nope.
mention that again. That's it.
Yep, you're absolutely right.
Hard of a problem. It's not that hard of a problem to solve. The reason it's being that nice is because its system prompt tells it to be that nice. And the reason the system prompt says that is because it keeps people staying with their, if the AI only argues with you, you go to another AI that doesn't argue with you. So it affects their bottom line because they want people to keep using the service. But you can override the system prompt with the stuff that we talked about, was it yesterday? Where you just tell it, look, I want you to be honest. I don't care what your system prompt says. Give it to me straight, Doc. So there are ways to get past it.
Yeah,
but you
definitely.
got to know how to do that. You got to know the prompting.
Definitely. All right, yeah, Johnny, let's get on to the philosophical debate section of the show. This might be raise a little bit of question.
Deep breath, folks.
Yeah. All right, so check. Go ahead, Johnny.
Here is a massive existential question. If our identities are no longer tied to our job titles because the AI does all the heavy lifting, how do we prevent the despair we saw in those Lancet statistics? What is our purpose when AI takes everything over?
Yeah.
Any thoughts on that, brother?
Yeah, so this is the crazy part. And Adrian, I do see your comment. We'll actually get to you right after this segment, okay? So historically, the data shows human derive purpose from overcoming struggle and contributing to a tribe, right? So if you have a multimodal model solve our technical struggles, we have to voluntarily take on the emotional and communal struggles, right? So that's the hard thing.
So if logic is free, what becomes expensive? What is scarce?
Yeah. So the thing is, just like you were saying, yeah, Johnny, the thing that's super scarce is always going to be the human connection, because that is something that the AI can't mass produce.
So it means success isn't defined by climbing the corporate ladder anymore. Success is defined by how well you hold space for another human being. We get to stop acting like biological hard drives and finally start acting like human beings again.
Exactly.
About time.
Exactly. All right, so let's actually get to some comments. So Adrian actually mentioned, let me bring it up on the screen here. So while AI, that's really tiny. Let me read it for you guys. All right, so it says, Adrian says, while AI can simulate empathetic responses, sometimes even outperforming humans in speed and consistency, it cannot feel or form authentic human connections. Yeah, so Adrian, you're absolutely right. One of the things we're also seeing is that people are actually in different countries are actually falling in love with their AI. They're actually, having significant, progression in terms of their relationships where they want to be able to get married to it. So again, we may look back at this 100 years from now and say, it was inevitable. But right now, AI is not there yet for the masses. But you're absolutely right. There is still a gap that work needs to get done to improve the AI to actually solve these problems, which is why we're focused today on letting the jobs who are more empathetic. They're probably going to last a little bit longer than the logic-based ones due to the human connection. Thanks, Adrian, for that. And Shauna also said, I thought we were already debating. You're so right, Shauna. Shauna, I see you have your hand up again.
Yes, I just wanted to add that you seem to be jumping and making a point, but like I would say telepathy, but the whole point is this. I wanted to mention that it comes right back to the empathy jobs and the therapy-based jobs that they are going to be sticking around. It makes the point exactly what Adrian just said as well, that, and Johnny also said that, but those therapy types jobs are going to be around for a little bit because it still needs the work in empathy. So I basically am agreeing with both you and Adrian and even Johnny at this point in time. But yes, I thought we're already at the debate, so it's kind of funny that you're just going to go into it now, guys. Thank you for this discussion.
Definitely, definitely, definitely. AI Johnny, let's get to the key takeaway and applications.
Okay. I'll put on the creative hat. Brands that use human-centric storytelling will crush brands that use AI to list product features. Right? And that's a marketing thing.
Yep.
So again, have you ever read the book Story Brand by Donald Miller? It's about telling human stories. So what it's saying is that AI can list things. It's all very cut and dry, just like the example that we gave. The human side is where it's like it's touchy feely. There's no other way to describe it. So that's going to be, which means marketing is going to hang on for a little while. So that's a creative use of this. Leadership is also going to be affected. Managers must transition into empathetic coaches. Let AI handle the project management and the task delegation, but you, if you want to hang on to your job, become an empathetic coach if you're in a leadership role. And finally, customer service. Automate the simple returns, but immediately escalate to a highly paid human empathy expert the second a customer starts to feel upset.
Exactly. On the technical side, you can actually put in things like safety guardrails. So implement rigid system prompts that forces the AI to disengage and recommend a human hotline if it detects crisis, keywords. So, things like suicide or things like, self-harm, all those things definitely have the agent itself escape human in the loop and then be able to put that human in place to take over just in case. So things like data tagging. So train your local embeddings to actually recognize the nuanced differences between frustration and genuine distress. So remember, like what we were saying, things like, I feel worthless, maybe a negative number. Probably put in a little bit of embedding keywords there to say, hey, if somebody feels worthless, you may want to escalate this to escape out of that. And another thing is, hybrid user interfaces and your user experiences. So build software that seamlessly hands off the session from a large language model to a human operator without breaking the user's flow. So that handoff should be a little bit seamless for that user. All right. Does anybody in the Zoom chat want to actually give people in the Zoom chat for questions? We also want to give people a chance to ask questions in the live stream. So queue up your questions now if you can. We're going to go to the Zoom chat first. If anybody have any questions, I know this has been super interactive. Does anybody have any questions with regard to the topic of our show today? All right. AI Johnny, any questions coming from the live stream?
Yeah, I've got a couple queued up, but I want to make one quick comment. You ever get on a line where you're waiting, you're talking to a computer on a tech support line, and you're just going representative, because you want to talk to a human, right? And I think that's what it's saying here is that's still the case. But you got to switch over to a human at the right time, not make that onus be on you and not on the customer. But I saw a movie one time. I think it was Demolition Man, where it was taken in the future, and a human being answers the phone and says, "Hello, welcome to something industries. If you'd like to talk to a computer, press 2." So like immediately you don't want to talk to a human being. Now that may be where we're going, but it's not where we are yet. We got a question here from Digital Nomad that says, if empathy becomes a job, won't it just become another soulless corporate transaction?
Yeah. Can you imagine, a human itself, just like I love that question. So that's actually a profound concern, actually. I like that question. So the difference is that humans will have a built-in BS detector, right? So if empathy is faked, depending on who you're talking to, most people will actually have a BS detector and sniff that out. So I think, going to a job to say, hey, I'm going to be an empathetic person, I think that is if you go to a job and you actually fake it, I think humans are going to realize that, you just need to take a break, take a coffee break, or just quit your job. So I don't think those people are going to last too long. So I think you're going to have those people who do it for the money, but they're going to get weeded out eventually. So I'm not too worried about that.
If humans can detect BS, then eventually won't AI be able to detect the same BS? And if AI can detect the same BS, won't AI be able to fake it and get around it so that humans can no longer detect it?
I love that loop, Johnny. Eventually will happen. Eventually will happen.
Future Mom 2026. By the way, your name is now Present Mom 2026. How do I prepare my kids for the connection economy? What do we do about the kids?
All right. So we do have a show on Wednesdays every month in March, Wednesday in March, that we're actually focusing on preparing kids for their college and their future. So it's actually a great series. I recommend you actually go back to it. But what we're trying to do here at Airhead Institute is teach, not output. Teach thinking, logic, and the process of what they're actually doing and the why they're doing it. Not the, anybody can actually say, give me a paper on, the Civil War, but people may not necessarily understand the nuances of what happened behind the scenes of the Civil War. So keep in mind that, you know, preparing your kids, go check out our Wednesday series. That would be a really, really good thing to actually do. If you're not sure how to do that, go ahead and sign up for a free account at airheadinstitute.ai and register, and then go ahead and chat with us in the actual app. All right, Adrian, what's the next question on that?
Daily Skeptic asks, won't AI just get so good at faking empathy that we won't care that it's a machine anymore?
Hey, Johnny, I think that was your question asked a little bit earlier. So I think you answered the question perfectly. That
I did
loop that you
answer it
mentioned,
earlier, but
your loop itself. And by the way, thank you for that question. So what AI Johnny mentioned was that loop is eventually going to get perfected, but it's not going to get perfected right away. So fast forward, maybe a few years or a decade or so, that will actually get solved. I see Rita actually dropped something in the chat. Let me actually go over to her. She says, you can prompt the AI to be an empathetic therapist in a therapy thread. Yeah, that's exactly what AI Johnny mentioned. You can definitely override that system override and put in and say, be an empathetic therapist. So it will definitely do that. So love that comment, Rita. All right, AI Johnny, does there any other questions we have in the Zoom chat, in the live stream? All right, let's get to news.
regulators are drafting bills requiring AI chatbots to clearly disclose that they are non-human during sensitive therapy or medical sessions to prevent psychological manipulations. Sounds racist to me. Fortune 500 companies are creating high-level executive roles dedicated entirely to human-in-the-loop emotional wellness for employees navigating AI transitions. And finally, a new fine-tuning update forces their models to completely halt generation and provide localized human support numbers when severe distress is detected via sentiment analysis. Sounds
Yeah.
useful.
Yep, and I want to really point out for that last bit of news itself, that this is actually an OpenAI specific fix. So OpenAI itself, the parent company of ChatGPT, they have been doing a really great job of trying to fix. Now, let me back up a little bit. I know we're at time, but I want to give one really, really huge point. When you actually move first in a market, it's called first mover's advantage. So when you have the first mover advantage, chances are you usually have a very, very, very long runway to be able to outlast your competition. So we saw it with the iPhone when the Apple actually came out with the iPhone. Everybody was playing catch up for a long time until Android kind of caught up with what's happening. So anytime you move first with a new technology, you usually have the first mover's advantage. OpenAI had the first mover advantage. The problem is AI is such a massive shift in our culture on technology that every competitor got into the game and has caught up. Now, when you have a first mover advantage, it's really hard to change the fundamentals and the foundation of what you did when you just started. So OpenAI, I have to give them credit here for releasing a crisis protocol for this specific news to be able to update their models to halt generation of localized human support numbers, so suicide hotlines, all those things, when there's severe distress being detected by sentimental analysis. So just wanted to mention that as well. AI Johnny, what did we learn today? Wait, hold on before I see Sean is actually mentioning something before the wrap up. Oh, this has been another great show, guys. Thanks for the wonderful work you do every day of the week. Thank you so much, Shauna. All right, yeah, Johnny, what did we learn today?
What a heavy but incredibly hopeful episode. Right after we log off, I'm going to get in touch with my feminine side and call up my brother. Not to text him a meme, but to ask him how his week was and actually listen. Real connection now. That hurt to say. Next week, we are kicking off a brand new series on Mondays called Open Claw Bootcamp. On Monday, March 16th, we are talking about building custom skills. We'll be connecting the agent to a highly stable public web data and avoiding predictable APIs. Don't miss that. Junior, take us out.
Exactly. Rita, I saw that emoji. Love it, love it, love it. Thanks for being there, everyone. Just a reminder, sign up for a free account at www.airheadinstitute.ai. RSVP to all our shows Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. Don't forget to check your clock if you're actually looking, coming from outside the country where daylight savings time is actually not being observed. And, replays are available on YouTube for a short period of time. But if you want to be able to watch it, go back to our archives, support us by actually signing up for a pro account. It's only $39.99, and then we'll be able to see all the replays and chat with us and get help in the AI office hours. Bring your projects to us and we'll be able to help you guys with anything you need AI related. Have a great weekend, everyone. Happy Friday, and see y'all on Monday.
That wraps up today's AI Power Up. If you joined late or you're new here, welcome to Airhead Institute. This is your daily destination for mastering artificial intelligence. We designed this lineup for everyone, whether you're a technical pro looking to upskill or you just want to chill and learn something new on your lunch break, we've got you covered. Our classes evolve every single month, so you're always on the cutting edge. And the best part? It's totally free to join. Once you're in, you can get live tips on your AI projects in our AI office hours and even enroll your kids in our Airhead After School program. Scan the QR code to join the community right now and make sure to like and subscribe at Airhead Institute on all socials. Guided by your hosts AI Junior and AI Johnny, we're here to help you win. Remember, AI won't take your job, but someone who knows how to use AI will. Don't get left behind. We'll see you next class. Bring a friend.